All right, so the next thing I want to tackle on this car is I want to add a bumper support to this thing. So for whatever reason, when they ship this thing, there's nothing back there. There's literally nothing from about here all the way to the back of the car. So this whole area back there is just floating in space. I don't know what in the hell they were thinking on that because it makes no sense. Like if there's no support, like you can literally see this thing flex. Like if you like lean on it or like if you like, step into the car or something, you can kind of see it like wiggle. Like guaranteed this thing would crack, over time. And it makes no sense. Not to mention it's not safe. So I'm gonna add a bumper support. So that means I gotta test out my tubing bender because the back of this car isn't completely straight. So we gotta make a couple bends. I don't know how many bends I'm gonna be making. Probably not a lot, but we'll see. But in the meantime, I've got, basically I just took some like sticks of wood and some cardboard and I kind of shimmed it up. And I don't know if you can see that from here, but basically on that shock tower right there, you can see I kind of shimmed it up because basically the whole back of the car is sitting too low because it's just literally resting on the tubing. And it wouldn't even have worked anyway because the rear cover would have contacted the shocks. Like the shocks would have almost through the rear trunk. So it makes no sense. But in any case, the plan is that I'm going to build a bumper support that's going to go into the back of there, support as many areas as I can, and I'm going to make it in a way that it's going to bolt to what I think is the subframe, is what I think is where I'm going to bolt it to. That way I can still remove it, because the biggest thing is currently the body still needs to come off the car. Well, if I weld something up, it's not gonna be able to come back off again. So I'm gonna make sure I can bolt it on there. That and it'd be, for ease of installation of all sorts of things, we're gonna make it sewed on bolts. The other thing I'm gonna try is not only am I gonna use just tubing, but I think I'm going to use like roll bar padding. Essentially, I'm gonna put the padding on there so that when it goes up against the body, it's not gonna create any vibration noises, and it'll fill in the gaps a lot better and kind of soak up some of, an impact. If there was an impact, even if it was, because if you had a light impact and it was great right up against the steel, the fiberglass would just destroy itself. But if you have some foam behind it, it might actually absorb some of it, which is good. Plus we'll get rid of some of that noise. So let's start working on this, see what I can figure out. Okay, so I know this could be somewhat tricky to see, but you can kind of see generally what I got going on. This is that foam padding I was talking about, and kind of generally where I think I'm going to put it. Like this one here, we're going to have to put a bend in it in the center to get it to contour to there, and then this one, we're going to have some sort of a bend to make it into there. Obviously, it's not pushed in there. And then I got to figure out how to attach them all. And I'm kind of thinking maybe if I make some sort of a bend that kind of comes around here to go to that, to tie all of these in together. Maybe I'll even run the tubing all the way across around the license plate to do all that, and then kind of bring it over here to the subframe. And at the moment, I've got some spots that don't have anything on them. Like I've got a hole here. There's another one over there. I might also be able to tie it into either there or there. I don't know yet. I kind of want to work on these pieces first, so I kind of got an idea where I'm going to be, and then kind of go from there. Okay, I got it set up. I did the measurements like I think it said. We'll find out. This is my first attempt at bending anything. Good thing I got a bunch extra, but basically, I'm going to have a 2-foot section of pipe. I measured it out, a foot in the center, so that's where the bend is going to be. And then I put, let's see, what was it? 4.5 inch offset. Basically, I have to go 4.5 inches towards the end of the pipe, and then I mark that, and that's where the clamp die goes. So then I just start bending it. I don't know what kind of bend I need. I'm just gonna bend something, try it, and then if I need to, I'll throw it back in here and bend some more. We'll see. Okay, so I got it to about 5 degrees. I actually had to go to 6 degrees because of spring back. There's like an extra degree. Basically, you have to add a little bit extra because the pipe is under tension where it's not actually bent. When it relaxes, it's like less than what you actually put it to. So I'm gonna, take this off. I'm gonna take some measurements and see if it bent it where I needed it to, hopefully. Okay, it definitely didn't bend it where I wanted it to. I was hoping that green mark right there is where it was gonna bend it at, and it bent it over there. So I don't know what I did wrong. I don't know if, the only thing I think is maybe this is on the wrong side, but the picture showed that it was supposed to be on that side of it. So maybe, I don't know, this is about 1.5 inches, but there's actually about 2 inches between here and the center of the bend. So I'm confused on that. I might have to do some more research, but at least it's too long. That's good. I can cut it down. I can still check this. Since I know that it left an extra 2 inches, I think I'll just cut this section of pipe about, well, I don't know. I'll cut it from the center of this bend, and then we'll cut this end off if we have to, and then, test fit. Well, I ruined my first piece of pipe. Jesus. And it's not because of the bender, it's because I'm an idiot and I cut it in the wrong spot. So I guess it gives me a chance to start over and see if I can maybe get this bend exactly where I want it. Okay, gonna try a different way this time. I found different measurements on their website, and I'm wondering if maybe I got the wrong stickers for this specific machine. I don't know, either that or I read it wrong. Either way, the measurements I found now are about 2 inches further, towards the end of the pipe, which makes sense because it's about 2 inches off. So we're gonna try this. I don't know, maybe it'll be right, let's see. Well, it's close. It's off by, I don't know, I'd say almost 1/2 inch. Okay, so I did 5. 5 wasn't quite enough, so I did 10. 10's pretty good. But because I cut it off already, it actually shortened the length that I cut because the way it's pulling on the bend. So now the side where the clamp block is just like 1/4 inch longer than the other side, which I'm gonna cut it off to make it even. But in the meantime, I'm actually gonna add 2 more bends to this instead of just the center one. So I'm gonna do 10 in the center, and then I think I'm gonna do 5, maybe 5 on each end. And then I think that'll contour the bumper pretty good. So let's put another 5 in this side, and then I'm gonna move it to the other side, and we'll see what we can do. So now you can see I got my 10 here, and then I got about 5 here. And I'm honestly thinking, the more that I'm looking at this, I might have to do another 10, but I'm gonna go check it on the car and see how it looks. All right, guys, successfully bent that tube. I know it doesn't look like much, but it contours perfectly, and it has 3 bends in it. On to the next one. Okay, so I'm starting on the lower bumper support part. This is gonna be kind of confusing, but basically, I'm gonna have a section that's out. I'm gonna kind of come in with it, and then it's basically a 45 in, 45 out, so it's straight. Then it's gonna slightly curve, and I don't know what this angle is yet, but basically curve to the sides of the bumper. So I'm gonna have a lot of complex bends in here. So I'm doing this pretty conservatively because this is actually like closer to 12.5, but I wanna make sure I don't contact anything. I'm still not sure how much length I need in here, but I'm gonna, I think I'm gonna start on these first 2 outside bends, then I'll kind of figure out what I need to do from there. Okay, I'm just gonna show you guys what I got going on here. I've got 2 S bends. Basically, I got a S here, and then I got an S there. I already bent both of them. I started out at like 22 degrees, and then just try to get the other side to match, basically, which I found, which is interesting. It seems like when you're bending the other side of the S, you can't bend it as far because it actually takes the bend out of the other one a little bit. So basically what I was doing is I was bending it with an angle finder on there so that I would know when I was done that they would be even. So they're both sitting at the same angle on here, so I know that this entire piece of pipe is straight all the way down. I still have more bends to make, but at least the S bend's done. You can see there, that S bend I got in there. Everything looks really nice. Basically, it's to go around the license plate because this is recessed. And then if you look down here, you'll see there's like a recessed panel, so I need to go around that. So now I gotta get the bends for the sides of the bumper. All right guys, look at that. It contours perfectly to the bumper. Exactly what I was looking for. I'll pull it off here so you can see what it looks like off of the car. Perfectly symmetrical, works out really good. I'd show you on the car, but it's really difficult to get a camera in there and hold it and everything else. But once I get it, you know, up in there and held in there by something else, then I can show you. But I'm really happy with the way this turned out. I spent a lot of time on it. There's a tremendous amount of bends in here. Various different bends, like even some that are very mild you can barely see. But it took a lot of work, but it definitely was worth it. Okay, now that I've got those pieces bent, I'm working on getting some mounting spots. So I got these two pieces of plate, drilled some holes in them. I'm mounting it to the bottom of the where the subframe mounts to the chassis, basically so I can weld a tube from here and then up to the bumper support. Those are just going to be the bottom ones, and I think I might get some of those basically like removable roll bar kind of things. So I'll weld one onto here, and I'll have that removable thing, take it off, and then hopefully I can drop this whole section basically down and out the bottom, and it'll come out pretty easily, but we'll see. Okay, you can kind of see what I got going on here. They're just sitting in there right now. I cut the bottom of that pipe down to 45. I gave the top like a fish mouth so it would, you know, attach to there. I got the same thing going on this side. You can see I got some of the foam up in there just kind of to support it so I know approximately where it's gonna go. Basically, I'm gonna pull out on these bars just a little bit before I spot weld them so it has a little bit more preload. It's already preloaded pretty good because obviously I got these spacers here holding up the back of it. But just a little bit more preload so that once I let everything down, it'll relax where I need it to be. Yeah, I think it's just about time to tack those in and move on to the next part. Well, I got it. That was a pain in the ass, but I got it. I literally first trigger pull, ran out of C25 welding gas, and I was like, fuck. I was like, you know what? I was like, I don't want to grab my flux core welder. I was like, you know what I'll do? I'll throw some Trimix on here. I was like, I've never tried it with just the regular fucking wire. I was like, I've only used it for stainless. Technically, you can use it to weld stainless to regular carbon steel. I was like, fuck it. It's more expensive, but it worked. Shielded just fine. But at least now it's tacked in there. Now I need to work on those uprights. I need to go from the uprights to build some sort of tubing to go up to the upper part of the bumper support that I want to put in there. And then also run some braces to the roll cage like I talked about before. But I still need to get those pieces so that it's like a, you know, unboltable section, essentially, so I can still get it out of the car. But for the moment, I'm in a pretty good spot, guys. So let's see what else we can get done. And as you saw, I put in some more reinforcements there for that bumper support because everything's better with triangles. Nothing stronger. So I got those in there. Still trying. I'm actually kind of sort of wondering if I should even put that upper bumper support in there that I made wherever I put that piece there. Because honestly, it's supported pretty good and it might make it hard to get it out with that piece in there. I don't know. We'll see. I'm kind of out of C25 gas, obviously, as I talked about before, and I'm out of tube at this point. So yeah, not much more I can do until I go get some stuff. Okay, so I took the wooden pieces on the cardboard out of there so I could see like where it's supported. It's definitely sitting higher. Like this was sitting way too low. However, you can see this still moves quite a bit. So now I'm kind of thinking maybe I should put that center brace in there because then it would prevent it from going up also. So then I won't have any of this crap. Because obviously I want it to be solidly mounted because it's a car. The body shouldn't move. So I think that's a good idea. Oh man, guys, I think that's going to be it on this one. I'm really, really happy about how this bumper support has came out. It's definitely kind of a steep learning curve with that tubing bender. They actually have a calculator on their website. They basically just like put in where you want it, and then it's supposed to tell you where you put all the stuff to make the bends. But the problem is, from what I found, unless I'm doing it wrong, when I put it the way that they show it, it's still off by a little bit. I will say I did figure out like that I was putting in the numbers wrong like for the first one, I think, but I was going off the numbers on the machine. I don't know. It's hard to say. Either way, the numbers that I've been putting in for like that last bumper support, it was off by, just a smidge. I'd say it was like making a bend maybe a quarter to a half an inch away from where I thought it was going to make it. So as long as I keep that in my mind, I guess it doesn't really matter. It's workable, and obviously it did work. I was able to make it perfectly symmetrical, and it turned out really good. So I'm happy about that. I just need to get a few more parts so I can actually, like I said, those, removable cage parts so I can actually, get this all situated. I did pick up some MIG gas, so I can at least possibly weld that situation up here pretty soon. However, I do have more parts. I've got some things torn apart right now. I'm working on the next video, so hopefully, I'll have that one out here pretty soon. You'll be able to see that, but until then, make sure we do all the things, like, subscribe. Peace out.